Hey, how goes it? Ken Bozak here to talk about Bitcoin and Bitcoin accessories. And today I'm here streaming with a stranger, my bro, Bagsy. How goes it, bro?
Good man. How's it going with you, brother?
Dude, I'm just enjoying the day. The entertainment I've been able to consume since I woke on crypto Twitter is it may be giving me a cavity. It's just too much.
Never a dull moment, man.
Not one, not one. So do us a favor for the audience. If they're not familiar, guys, check out Crypto Twitter. It's a thing. We're streaming right now, YouTube, Facebook, everywhere. If you're on Facebook, get off of it. Go to Twitter or something better, Steam, maybe even. But let everybody know a little bit about yourself.
hmm
Maybe how you got into crypto and how your experience has been in the space since you got in.
All right, cool. So I guess where to start? I started out actually on the dark web. At the time, I was well, I'm still a certified nutritionist, so I was into that scene, and I was also looking into products such as not steroids but derivatives. So they're called SARMs, so selective androgen receptor modulators, and you can do a lot of research on the regular web, but there's a lot of stuff on the dark web too. So I first started out on like Silk Road, looking into all that kind of stuff, and next thing you know, like I saw at the top, you could pay in Bitcoin, and what's this? Like Monero, and I'm like, okay, this is kind of cool. So fast forward, like maybe 6 months later, I ended up purchasing some Bitcoin because I saw like in the forums, people are like, oh, like this is cool, you can use this to buy this and that and that. I'm like, okay. And then the more I kind of researched into it, I was like, okay, there's something here. And in August 2017, I started full-time trading. So I'm actually a trader. I'm still an amateur, so I'm no professional by any means, but I've been doing that full-time ever since. And I actually discovered a community on Twitter. And like I was telling you earlier before we went live, I started following you. You're one of the first dudes I saw on
Appreciate
Twitter.
that.
So no, for real, man. You're mad interesting. So I started there, and then like I created a little Twitter account, and I ended up getting shadow banned for like at some point Twitter went on this like crypto purge, and I still don't know why my accounts got banned, but I lost three, and my account that I had until yesterday was my last shot. I was like, okay, if this account goes down, I'm not starting this again,
Yeah,
and
we're getting a lot of questions in the live stream. The chat's asking like what happened and why are you banned? Why is your account gone? It's not even like people can bring it up and see the previous tweets you have tweeted. It is
uh,
looks like it's just gone.
all right, so yesterday I woke up, had my cornflakes. I was on Twitter, and one of my friends, Bull of Bitcoin, he's a dude I like a lot, and he had an impersonator create an account about a month and a half ago under the name Bull Bitcoin.
I've seen it.
And so when I was going through my feed, I saw this impersonator make a post with a fake Ethereum giveaway, trying to pay his followers to have my friend permanently banned for harassment, for basically for bullshit. So what I did, I ended up retweeting that. Well, firstly, I reported the dude. Secondly, I retweeted it, and I was like, this is unacceptable, this type of behavior, na na na. And I tagged Twitter support in the post. And 15 minutes later, my account was locked, and then it was suspended. So, like, I still don't have
Damn,
a re.
that's fast.
I know, like, dude, they're on top of their shit, but not for the right reasons. And yeah, so I wrote out a whole appeal, and I'm still waiting in my email box for them to get back to me. But that kind of shit's unacceptable. And at first, I was considering not saying anything because, but at the same time, like, you can't you can't let that shit go. Like, that's not the type of community that I joined in the first place, where this type of behavior should be allowed. And it just bothered me, so I did something about it.
I just can't believe that there is a bounty that is, requiring the participation of just, basically harassing somebody and that is allowed. There's a payment bounty in this. Like at this point, that's like if you harass somebody on the internet and bully somebody, internet bullying, it's now considered like a physical assault, you know. And what they're basically doing is paying people to harass somebody, and that's insane. That's even possible. That's a pinned tweet with like a fake, you know, Ethereum giveaway kind of scenario. And what's even more fucked up, bro, is people are actually participating. That's the real fucking problem. Like, wow.
And on top of that, the dude put a screenshot of the different options you can do as a report.
Yeah, I saw the step-by-step bullshit. That's fucking
circled it in a little marker. I'm like, come on. Like, and next thing you know, like, not only did I get banned, but my good friend Alex Libertas, and he has a platform, the Daily Chain, and he's a serious contributor in the space. And he's not only that, but he's a really good dude. And he got banned, suspended, just for retweeting what I wrote. Wow. What kind of shit is that? You know?
And there's nothing that we can do. Like, there's no rebuttal as community members of these, you know, platforms. It's not like I can go and rebut that report. It's just there's only a one-way scenario. There's only a one-way road for like reporting things and like trying to say this is spam, this is harassment, when your followers or friends can clearly say like, no, it's not. You're harassing. It's really fucked up, man. But you know, Twitter is broken, and it's not getting much better. I don't like the whole thing about the send death here scams and all that. I think that I forget who helped with that. Was that Fluffy Pony? I think that helped, or somebody, like there was somebody that was helping with, you know, a bot for finding those. But it was also like right around the time where, you know, the market started to go bearish, and who the hell was falling for send death here scams? So too little, too late on a lot of these platforms, man. Like so what do you? What can the audience do to help right now? Is there anything that we can do? I know that post is still there. I reported it, that pinned tweet. I reported that pinned tweet. I mean, if you're listening, guys, head on over to Twitter and check out, you know, the account. I forget the Twitter handle.
It's Bull Bitcoin, but if I'm not mistaken, his account actually disappeared not too long ago. So perhaps there's some type of mercy. But what the people watching can do, you know, just
Jackson Palmer. Sorry to interrupt. It was Jackson Palmer. I was like, I knew it was somebody out of the crazy that did it. Thank you, DJ Popsicle.
You're right. But yeah, like just guys, try to keep it, you know, positive. I mean, there's not much that can be done in my case, but you know, just try to keep the space clean. The reason why I joined Twitter 5 times now was because of the community, you know. And it was a way for me to share my charts, to share my ideas. I'm trying to improve as best as I can, and I'm trying to connect with people that are better than me so I can, you know, improve my craft, but also maybe help some people down the line. So, you know, just try to keep the space clean. And I understand it's sometimes hard when someone's up in your face talking shit, but, you know, try to be the bigger person and make the space better.
Exactly, man. So in your own words, when, you know, you're talking to, you know, the plebes out there, the no coiners or the future Bitcoiners, if you will, you know, when they ask like, what is this crypto Twitter environment that you're engaging in? How would you describe crypto Twitter? How's it different than Twitter itself?
That's a really good question. It's the same, but people might be a bit more emotional because their investments are involved.
That's true.
So, you know, so if you're talking about a certain cryptocurrency, let's take Ethereum, for example. Let's say you have a bunch of Ethereum and you make a post about it and someone talks shit about your coin. It's really easy to get emotionally involved and attached, and, you know, you lash out. So I think Twitter overall is the same. It's just that crypto Twitter might be more emotionally charged. It's a more emotional environment. So you know, because people get really attached to their investments, which I understand. Like if you purchase a coin, you've owned it for 6 months, that coin is almost a part of your identity in a way, because you're on their Reddit, you're on their website, you're keeping up with their posts, and you want your investments to succeed over time. So yeah, I think that's the major difference. But on the same token, you'll find really good people in the community that are willing to help. They're willing to help you learn, grow. It's just that you kind of have to weed out the good and the bad, kind of like, life.
Thanks for the super chat, full time geek. And yeah, Bagsy, I'm with you, man. Like, I feel like what crypto Twitter kind of feels like to me is like a high school cafeteria. As soon as you walk in, you just kind of try to figure out which lunchroom table you fit in with. You're looking at the Ripple people, and they're like, circle jerking each other in business suits, and they're getting cum all their nice Versace boots. You're like, I'm good with that. And then you look over, and you're like, you see like the Potcoin Tokes, Vice, and all this, Spank Chain, all those, industry tokens. You're just like, oh, that's kind of kinky. I'm into it. Like, you just kind of get in where you fit in crypto Twitter. But like the tribalism mentality needs to fucking stop, man. Like, it's insane, especially when noobs come into the space and they're like, what's this? And you're like, that's a fib chart, dumbass. Like, how don't you know? And I'm like, these people don't know. They're not investors. We're trying to make this mainstream, and the perspective isn't always of how to make money out of money. People just want to learn how to use money as better money.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, it's kind of about finding your place, I guess. I mean, but at the same time, if there's one thing I could tell you, is always try to keep an open mind, and everything is a half truth. Nothing is what it is. So if you're able as a person to keep your mind open as much as possible and try to take different people's opinions, you're going to go a lot farther. And eventually, once you gather enough experience, you can then decide, okay, this makes more sense to me, or that. And then you take that and you move forward. But if you're able to keep an open mind to things, whether it's crypto or your job or your surroundings, like you can definitely advance a lot farther than if you're really stuck in one frame. And I'm sure you've realized that, Ken, through all the people you've interviewed, and there's a way to win. And to me, that's a major thing that's helped since I'm younger.
Yeah, dude, I keep my perspective pretty open and try to keep my own bias out of, when I'm consuming content, right? Like, your filters are there naturally. You have a bias filter that you consume through, and I do and you do. We could watch or read the same book, and we're going to have a different takeaway from the same material. And you give that book to 1,000 people, 1,000 people get 1,000 different takeaways. So, like, people have to be more unbiased and take away that filter, so we can try to get the unified takeaway, right? At least a majority unified takeaway, and to see the diversification, I would say, I guess, in like in Bitcoin or crypto Twitter towards Bitcoin, it's not healthy, to be an altcoin, an alt maximalist. It's just not healthy, right? Like, people are coming into the space, trying to look for Bitcoin, and we have, Roger pushing Bitcoin Cash or Bitcoin ABC as the real Bitcoin. Craig Wright, and I think even Kevin Pham. Some people now. Other people push different Bitcoin, and different currencies as like, the whatever.
Real Bitcoin.
Right. It's insane. But like, nobody's out there pushing the white paper, and I'm just like, that's where it starts. And more people push that unified material for the unified understanding, which is the Bitcoin white paper. That's where, we could have the unified takeaway, and then we could start to talk about other things. But it's really a lot over a lot of people's heads when you want to be like, no, Monero is the best because Bitcoin doesn't have privacy, and you're like, well, they don't even understand why Bitcoin doesn't have privacy. Start with that,
Yeah, that's a really good point. That's actually one thing that really attracted me to Bitcoin and that whole mentality, is that you can bring millions of people together from across the world and have them use a certain I don't want to call it a platform, but a currency, and we each benefit from it without helping, I guess, there's no CEO, there's no overlord. It was really a system created to benefit the user, to be able to transact and to be your own bank. That's beautiful, and that's what kept me here, and I could imagine that's part of what's keeping you here too, Ken.
Well, that's the role crypto Twitter plays. Kind of to wrap up on that topic there, that's our role as crypto Twitter, is to be Bitcoin's marketing department. It's not healthy to see all this toxicity in crypto Twitter as a newcomer to the space, you know, it's we gotta pull together more and stop dividing our energy. You know, fiat's the real enemy. Let's just focus on the common enemy of fiat, and whatever kills it, great. But now JP Morgan's doing God knows fucking what with their centralized bullshit coin token, and they're calling it JP Morgan coin, but it's a token.
Hmm.
I hate that scammy, like, fucking manipulating marketing word shit that these companies are going to use. And a lot of people think, you know, it's positive, but I think that, you know, companies coming in and trying to take the clout of what a cryptocurrency is and incorporate it, it's Bitcoin doesn't need your business to survive. Like, you know, like a lot of people say, like, oh, what Bitcoin or crypto needs to survive is, you know, institutional investors and, you know, institutional companies. And no, what these companies
Hmm.
need to survive is blockchain technologies and cryptocurrencies.
Hmm.
Crypto and blockchain don't need you. You need it. There's a big difference. So I was just curious, what are your thoughts a little bit on, like, you know, the things like JP Morgan coin and, you know, Gemini dollar, these, you know, stable coins and centralized currencies, stuff like that. What are your thoughts on, like, the net positives or the
Hmm.
negatives of these impact?
I don't. At the moment, I've been thinking about that question myself, and I don't think there's a huge negative yet. I think that JP Morgan, all these stable coins, you know, they're trying to make their own, they're trying to profit in the best way they know how. But at the same time, I feel like it benefits the or this it benefits blockchain, it benefits Bitcoin in a way because like JP Morgan, for example, they're building a stable coin. From my understanding, it's going to be a one-to-one peg coin, so it's not going to be replacing Bitcoin in any way. And from what I've been at least reading into, I don't see another cryptocurrency taking Bitcoin's spot yet. It would require a lot. You'd have to divert a bunch of miners. Nothing has the network power that Bitcoin does. So in the meantime, I don't think that all these companies joining on is going to hurt. At least, you know, and I'm no professional. I'm just a sponge and I read. So for me, I don't think there's a huge negative yet. I think it's positive, especially for like grandma and grandpa. They're like, oh, JP Morgan, they're building a coin. Oh, is that Bitcoin stuff? And then they're going to want to buy some Bitcoin, you know, because their grandson said, hey, Bitcoin's the real coin. So I don't know. Like I'm kind of split. What do you think, Ken?
I'm scared. I think what they're doing is like in my cartoon world, I see like J.P. Morgan as Bugs Bunny holding the red cape and getting all the bulls excited for this crypto thing. And I think the mainstream is the bull, and they're going to try to run into J.P. Morgan and open bank accounts because they think they're going to be able to do stuff with crypto, even though it's nothing to do with that. It's this is for their high-end trading. This is for accredited brokers, and it's
Hmm.
not for their customers at all. It's not making you any savings as a JP Morgan, you know,
Hmm.
customer. If you're banking with JP Morgan, you're not getting any more interest. You're not earning any more. You're not going to get a better, you know, APR on anything. You're not going to get anything out of this, right? So what this is really is a trick to get them to run right into the fucking anvil that's right behind that red cape that looks like a crypto, but it's not.
Hmm.
It's a fiat coin,
Yeah.
and it's not even it's nothing. You know, it's not nothing for us. It never was intended for the people. This is only intended for accredited institutional trading, like, you know, approved brokers. And again, they're
Hmm.
not passing on any money they're making or anything they're saving to you. That's why I think that it's scary that, you know, they're trying to take the clout of crypto and move it to this, you know, thing that they're doing and manipulate the people that aren't yet, you know, aware enough to know the difference between a decentralized, censorship resistant, immutable blockchain and exact opposite, right? So that's why I'm saying we got to start pushing that basic knowledge of, like, the white paper and what Bitcoin's blockchain is, and then you can start talking about everything else. But I really feel like this is probably more of a negative than a positive. I don't really think we need the institutions involved right now. It's really up to the retail investors and the mom and pops and you and me to really create value for this asset. I mean, what they're going to do with the futures market, the ETFs and OTCs, never in a million years are they going to intentionally inflate the price of it. Their best option is to bet against it in the futures and manipulate it through the OTC and markets down, so they can make more money on one end while they're losing just a little on the other. And yeah, it's just the same thing they've already done with gold, right? Like you can
Yeah.
see as soon as they started, how much gold do people own and how much gold actually exists is a totally different conversation. And it's starting to scare me that if you want to start counting how much Bitcoin people think they own on these centralized exchanges, it's probably more than 21 million already, and we're not even at 18 million Bitcoin mined.
Hmm. Is that because of like fractional reserve style plays, or I know a
Yeah,
bit less about that? So
yeah, I think Coinbase, kind of scares me in the same way the Federal Reserve scares me. Is who knows how much Bitcoin they actually have in storage, cold storage, for the people that think they own Bitcoin because you don't have your private key. And I
mhm.
know a lot of people are getting excited about Coinbase adding the private key to cloud service, but it's bullshit. You have a backup of that private key, but it doesn't mean anything to you. You don't actually have the private key. It's encrypted through their encryption that can only be unencrypted through the app that you logged into. So you're just storing this honeypot on a cloud that, stupid. It's just it's another trick, right? It's a false sense of security.
And that's our job, you and I, to educate people and to tell them to purchase a ledger or a hardware wallet, to purchase Bitcoin and to store it. That's
Cold
that's
storage, paper
yeah,
wallets, you know what I mean? You could get an
exactly.
old broken Android phone. I mean, who doesn't have a couple phones lying around that you're just done with, right? You take one phone, you never connect it to the internet again. You download the APK on a SIM card, you put it in your Android phone, you install it without even ever touching the internet. You
Mhm.
have a software wallet on your phone that's basically a cold storage device, and if you ever need anything from it, go ahead in and sweep the private key into a hot wallet, and you're good to go.
Exactly. Exactly. So yeah, that's going to be our responsibility. And one thing you brought up earlier, I think one thing that's going to hinder the whole, I guess, JP Morgan, coin, all that shit, as you said, it's for institutional investors. So mom and pop, there's this, I mean, mom and pop who are not institutional investors are still going to hear about Bitcoin, whether directly or indirectly through these bigger institutions. So
Yeah, but do you hear what they're saying? JP Morgan calls Bitcoin a scam, you know what I mean? But blockchain's good, and that's what I mean. It's not really a net positive, man. I mean, I've been watching CNBC and a lot of mainstream media, dude, and this shit that's coming out of their mouth about this fucking token and how it's gonna kill Bitcoin. And I'm like, do you understand that nobody can use JP Morgan coin? How the
and that's
fuck is it gonna kill Bitcoin?
and
Nobody can use it.
and that's the positive because it's a lie. You know, for the moment, it'll benefit JP Morgan, but down the line, you're still going to have a bunch of individuals who either want to invest in cryptocurrency and can't through them. You're either going to have traders who love to use 100x leverage but don't want to go through stocks or through those type of platforms.
Right.
So there's always going to be a market, especially through decentralized platforms. Right now there isn't really a great one. I think there's Crypto Bridge. That might be the closest one that I'm aware of. Uh, Chat can correct me if I'm wrong,
Chat,
but
drop your favorite.
yeah, drop your favorite decentralized, but real decentralized, not like IDEX or any of these. These are still centralized ledgers, but yeah. So you're still gonna have that want. You're still gonna have people who are going to discover it, directly and indirectly. When I actually do not listen to the news. That's one thing that I've tuned out of. So I'm less educated in terms of that. So I don't know what they're spewing, and I know it's nothing good. That's why I don't tune in. Like I just focus on my trading. I focus on what I can read, what I can find is legit, and like rarely the news is never there to give you anything good.
Right.
So for your psyche, for your mental, if you can go without it, go without it. That's my 2 cents on that.
Yeah, local news. Everybody in my family last night hit me up because local news did a piece on Bitcoin and the pros and cons, which I haven't seen. I actually have to go check it out after the interview. But it was pretty cool to see, like, no joke, about 12, maybe 15 of my family members and friends from the
Really?
tri-state area, Philly, New Jersey, Delaware, New York type of area. People were hitting me up like, yo, the news is talking about the pros and cons of Bitcoin. You got to check it out. And I'm like, oh, I hope there's not any misinformation. And that's what I would say, like, a lot of this toxic trolling on crypto Twitter is like, we're pushing this as satire and sarcasm, but it comes off as misinformation, and the mainstream media is starting to do it, like how I said earlier, where they were saying like JP Morgan coins potential to kill Bitcoin, and I'm like, I don't know if they're fucking trolling us right now or if this is just blatant misinformation, but you know, we have to start combating it, and the only way to really do that, unfortunately, is to listen to the mainstream media and the news and sit there in the comments and correct them when they are incorrect. And it sucks because it does get to you, like, you know what I mean, like when you say, like, if you can avoid that, you do it, because it does ruin your day to see like 12 different mainstream outlets completely incorrect about the shit they're talking about. And everybody in the comments, and the majority, is just eating it up like sheep and not doing their own due diligence or any of their own research, and barely even reading or listening to the actual information, right? It's always the headline, and that's all it's got to be. So if you guys are watching, you know, keep the media on their toes. That's all I'm asking. You know, be up in there and correct them when they're wrong. And CNBC Fast Money is probably the biggest culprit. So just keep an eye on those guys.
Yeah, I've been keeping a tab on them. They're the only ones that actually keep a tab on the trade section when they put a trade on. Man,
I corrected them so many times. I shit you not, they follow me. Not kidding.
They're like, what the fuck's Ken talking about?
CNBC Fast Money. I'll pull it up right here on the chat. Boom, it's on the screen. They follow me. Follows you. I have corrected CNBC's Fast Money so many times. They're like the fucking Wikipedia of crypto right now. Like, just go in and correct their asses, and they'll follow you because they need help. They don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
To go back to narratives and everything, the beauty about Bitcoin is how it's structured, how there's limited supply, how, you know,
touch on that for the people that have no clue what you mean when you, because when we say these terms, right, dude, it's like new vocabulary and vernacularies to people that just goes over their head because it doesn't mean anything, right? They're just words, and if you don't know the meaning of a word, it might as well be a sound effect.
Okay, sure. So to keep it simple, basically, over time, there's going to be less and less Bitcoin that will ever be created. So it's deflationary, which is very good. Unlike, you know, fiat currencies that have no ceiling, you can print as much money as possible. That's why these dollars are losing value over time. So the beauty about Bitcoin is that it's deflationary. There will only ever be so many created. And while these outlets are posting all this garbage, they've been doing this for the last 7 years or 6 years. I only started seeing Bitcoin in the news in like 2013. Obviously, you and I both know it started a bit before that, but the news really started getting on board then. And there will come a point in time in the next 2-3 years when the news is going to be pushing for it, because all the people have accumulated, the people in power, and they're going to want to push a different narrative to get new money inside so they can get out. And that whole cycle is going to repeat over and over again until there are no more cycles. And I don't know personally how many are left. I can only guess. But if you do the opposite of what the news is telling you, generally you'll be better off. And that's a truth.
That is a fact. I believe somebody actually did a post on crypto Twitter not too long ago of all the counter trades you could have made against CNBC Fast Money,
yeah.
And how much money you would have made if you would have done exactly the opposite of what they had said. And it was pretty impressive to see. But you're right. I mean, just go against the narrative of the mainstream, but until when, right? Until they,
Mhm.
and that's the thing, right? Like, I'm a little concerned about when that happens, when the mainstream does wake up or join, and even if it is, like you said, because they have accumulated, the 1% are finally in a position where the pawns are in place for them to say, all right, game on, and let
Mhm.
everybody play around because they own enough to where they're comfortable. But
Mhm.
I'm afraid we're gonna, do that tribalism thing and be like, no, we don't want you in our community no more. Instead of embracing that, mindset mentality change, like that person on the news that said, JP Morgan coin is killing Bitcoin because, it's better. It's blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I hope that person is, shamed enough to go and research it, come back on the news the next day and correct himself and us embrace him for that. Instead of, like I said, the toxic trolling thing of like, oh, fuck you, blah, blah, blah. Like, no, none of that. When I hope that, when that happens, people can be more embracing. Like, eventually Noriel will come to light, and I think his awakening moment was seeing how fucking scammy JP Morgan Coin's token was, because like we all agreed with Noriel for a moment, and
Mhm.
and that is an awakening for me, when it comes to like the narratives changing and people waking up to the actual power that this utility is of a decentralized cryptocurrency like Bitcoin, as opposed to the false misinformation that JP Morgan's going to perpetuate. Even Noriel felt inclined to say something.
It's funny you talk about Nuriel because he actually has me blocked because I challenged him at some point. So I don't know what he's been talking about recently, but I'll take your word for it. If you can fill me in quickly, what was his perspective on JP Morgan's coin?
I basically exposed it as a centralized, entity, the currency that had nothing to do with, the end users, had to be accredited banker. He just basically said exactly what it was for what it
Mhm.
is, and it was like, it's a scam. I was like, yes.
Mhm.
But I actually blocked him, and I only unblock him every once in a while to see what he's saying if people are talking about him, because, like, I'm not going to let that motherfucker block me. I'm the one who blocks Noriel. I am the one who blocks. People were asking in the chat, why the mask, and why the choice of synonymous, engagement in
Mhm.
crypto Twitter and stuff like that. And I wanted
Mhm.
to touch on that a little bit and, get your perspective on privacy and
Mhm.
cryptocurrencies and social media a little bit. Like, explain the mask and why privacy is important to you.
Okay. Well, firstly, the mask. There, when I first joined Twitter, I also started following Shil Nye actually, and I used to listen to his live streams almost daily. And in my head, I'm like, that mask is so intelligent because you can go from being anonymous to showing your face, but you cannot go the other way around. So privacy to me is important. Not that I'm, a whale by any means, but you don't need my face. I'm here to share what I know. I'm here to learn. And I can still talk to you guys without showing my visual. Maybe one day when a company or something big approaches me for something, I'll consider it. But to me, remaining anonymous is something important, especially when our rights and our freedoms are being taken away. And it doesn't take away from the experience in my eyes. So to me, it was a smarter move to keep it on, just because I don't know, it feels right. It's hard for me to, I guess, vocalize it now that you
Thank,
ask.
thank you, John Red, for the super chat. You just got a $2 super chat, man. I appreciate it. I guess John agrees with your ass, man. It's
Mhm.
you can't go backwards. And if I could go back in time and give myself any advice as a content creator in this industry,
Mhm.
particularly, I would say go synonymously. Create a Dr. Seuss or be like Banksy. I never
Mhm.
really cared for the admiration or whatever of having followers or like I could care fucking less. Only reason I ever created like a platform, was to answer some questions with videos. Like if you look at my earlier videos on YouTube, it was just like how to buy Bitcoin on Coinbase or how to use
Yeah.
Shapeshift and Jax and like the very basics of just like the same 10 questions people always ask me. I still go back to the same first 10 videos I made. I'm just like, here, I don't feel like
Mhm.
answering this. I already did it. So that's kind of why I made it. And then the reason I keep up with the upkeep is I got to soapbox to help people, expose their projects and get them exposure, or talk to interesting people. Like I got to talk to Charlie Lee on my podcast, Ryan X
Yeah,
Charles.
that's really
I had
cool.
Chris Dunn, who's one of the best fucking traders. Tone Vase. I had a lot of people come on. So that's like the only reason I keep up the upkeep. It's not for any kind of, attaboys or whatever. I would totally say, be anonymous if you can, because your identity is important. And it's scary. I got hacked, and I got socially attacked. I had people, when I had a day job before I got all in on crypto, I had a day job where the BitConnect community was calling my day job and harassing me at work.
Really?
Yeah, dude, it was getting bad. So I highly recommend that people look into being more, I would say, I don't know. I don't want to say private. What's the word I'm looking for here? Conservative. But just be more conservative with your personal information, and even if you want to be anonymous, know the levels of anonymity, because you could post a photo on Facebook or Twitter, and your GPS is in that photo. People could find out exactly where you took that picture. So if you're like, check out my food in my fridge, and you post that on Twitter, people are going to know where your refrigerator is, latitude and longitude. So you're only as anonymous as your actions on the internet are. So just, it's, just be careful, guys. And it is important. Definitely highly recommend synonymous interactions, and then, opt into who you expose yourself to and stuff. Like, even if you were to work for a project, there's no reason to tie this identity to that identity unless somebody's like, dude, I know those eyebrows. I know those eyebrows.
That's the thing too. And even taking a picture outside, someone could recognize a civic code on a building. It's the small details. And one thing that actually scared me.
Uh-oh. He got it. See? He got scared, and now we lost him. Bagsy, come back. All right. Well, we'll try to get him back. But yeah, guys. Oh, there you go.
Yeah, sorry about that. My Wi-Fi cut in. But yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, fine.
All right. So yeah, one thing that scared me was when I hear of hostage situations in Russia, in South Africa, and that's
the wrench method. That's what you're talking about, right?
What is the wrench method? I've never heard that.
Well, there's two ways to get your Bitcoin. I could come up with a $1 billion program that could, quantumly hack your private keys, or I could get a $5 wrench from Home Depot and hit you with it. I mean, it's a lot easier to do that. So the wrench method, it is happening, though. A lot of people, don't realize it. And that's one of the things that got me hacked early on. I lost a lot because I first got into Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies at prices I never expected would, go up as much as they have. So my first Bitcoin was like $400. My first Ethereum was $4. My first Litecoin was $1. And my first Ripple XRP was a penny. And I did these in YouTube videos. So people saw these YouTube videos and assumed that I had all of these tokens and coins still, and weren't just for video tutorial sake. And I was personally a honeypot at that point. And the $5 wrench method was, hacking my social media and stuff like that. But, I lost my Exodus wallet private key. Exodus does ask you to email yourself a backup of your private key as part of its default setup process. So in my YouTube tutorial video, I did that. So the hackers knew that there was a backup in my email, so they did that.
Fuck.
And the only thing I didn't lose at all, the only thing that no hacker stole from me, and they took everything, my Google Photos, my Dropbox, every photo from when I was like 14 years old from Dropbox, like all of it was gone, dude. I lost everything. MySpace was hacked, Facebook, Twitter, everything, right? The only thing that no hacker stole from me was my Steemit account. Yeah, it was mine. It was the only way I could let the internet know that I wasn't dead and that somebody has hacked me, and that the Twitter post and the Facebook post and all these interactions with my social media were not me.
Mhm.
because I could sign a message with my Steam It private key,
Yeah.
and the other account could not. So it was just one way for me to prove that it was me and I was hacked. And I don't know, it was
And
really
what?
interesting to see like even my 2FA was exposed because, all right, so here's an important lesson, everybody. Um, I use voice over IP, or at least I used to for everything. Voice over IP address, and I use Google Voice. So my email for my Google Gmail and my two-factor authentication was the phone number associated to my Gmail. So once the hackers hacked my Gmail, they had access to my text messages from my VoIP. So they got the 2FA right there, changed
Hmm.
my email password, and locked me out of everything.
That's
So
savage.
so just don't use your phone number that you give away for 2FA. You know, it's not a bad idea to have like a $5 a month burner phone as your 2FA that you just keep in your safe next to your private keys.
Yeah, this is what I have here.
Burner phones, guys. That's why I'm telling you, like, three phones, three different email addresses, three different phone numbers. One of them I give to everybody. One of them I share with platforms, and the other one I don't give to nobody. Not even
Mhm.
logging in with platforms. Like, you know, you just spread yourself out, but you know, also try to keep on top of it. You don't want to the being your own bank thing again. You don't want to be your own security guard and your own tech support and all this and have an issue, right? So less
It's a
is more.
responsibility.
Right. Less is more. Spread out as much as you can manage, for sure.
Mhm. Dude, like I lost my Twitter yesterday, and I cannot imagine what you were feeling when you lost everything.
Dude, it was shitty, dude. They were inboxing people like him.com and stuff because he follows me on Twitter. They were sending people
Mhm.
like him nude photos that of me from Dropbox. I'm like, fuck.
Look, you must have thought like my reputation is done.
Yeah, no, I was the day before I got hacked, I was talking to Immortal Technique
Mhm.
about getting Cuban food with him in New York City for
That's
lunch.
sick.
I got hacked that next day when I was supposed to be in New York. I was supposed to DM him and say, hey, bro, I'm in New York. Let's meet up. So basically, it looks like I stood up Immortal Technique for lunch, right? And then fucking the hackers are sending everybody nude photos and posting them on my wall. And like that's
Oh,
not even a problem because like full disclosure, before I ever got into Bitcoin, a lot of people know like my ex-girlfriend does adult content and like I used to post dick pics more than I posted Bitcoin charts. So like I had to go back into my Twitter account and delete all of my nude photos, and then I got it into crypto Twitter, and then I kind of got back into adult platforms because of Spank Chain and Stroken Token and Vice
Mhm.
Industry and all these things that are just it just makes sense. Like Pornhub, even you can if you post a nude photo and it gets enough views, you can earn Bitcoin on Pornhub.
Really?
Fuck yeah! I don't do it, don't do it, but I do have dick pics on Pornhub. Don't do it.
Fuck. So your dick came back to haunt you that day.
Yeah, man. So I never had lunch with
Fuck.
Immortal Technique, and it sucked. So guys, just take pride in your privacy, and be careful who you share it with. And I do
Mhm.
want to touch on a little bit here about like the Bitcoin drama in general, and like the space as we're moving forward. There's so many things occurring where there's now three Bitcoin that I think Coinbase is like supporting. I think people just got their third shitcoin split of Bitcoin from them or something. I don't
Mhm.
follow it anymore. I don't even use Coinbase. And unfortunately, a lot of people don't know this, but Shift Payments, the debit card that links to your Coinbase account, it's dead, dude.
Really?
Yeah, they're closing up shop next month. Your card will still work, but they're done. There is no more Coinbase debit card.
Hmm. I wonder
So
why that is.
so I'm just curious, what are some of the things that you've seen recently on crypto Twitter as far as like, the Bitcoin drama space goes?
Um, fuck. In particular, just like when you
Just
talk
anything
about
that's caught your attention, man, like, recently.
to be honest, I've been filtering out that shit as much as
Yeah,
possible,
nice.
but the whole Roger Ver, Craig Wright garbage. But Craig Wright
Exactly.
also blocked me on Twitter for, trying to question him. So I guess I get blocked by most of the garbage spewers before I can actually get some information. But yeah, man, like you can try to clone the best, but the best is still the best. So, like regarding Twitter toxicity, I mean, whether it's Craig Wright, whether it's a psycho, a motherfucking piece of shit, or, you know, your daily user who owns a coin who who's being attacked. Like toxicity is everywhere, and like you said earlier, tribalism is part of our human nature, so that's never going to go away. But if you're asking me for something in particular, honestly, I'm not the best person to ask about that. I'm sorry.
No, I think you hit the nail on the head though with the whole Craig Wright and Roger Ver thing. I just wanted to touch on like that and see what your thoughts are, because
What's something you've seen?
oh, dude. Honestly, a lot. I mean, the Kevin Pham switching sides is probably the one of the bigger controversies right now I've seen in the space.
I didn't know he traded teams.
Yeah, I think he's with Bitcoin SV. I'm not sure. I honestly just started seeing everybody hating on Kevin Pham out of nowhere. So like that's one of the newer Bitcoin drama stories I've kind of stumbled onto throughout the day. And then there was yours, man. You lost your fucking account. Your friends are being people are posting fake bounties, and people are actually participating in that, and then banning accounts that are actually contributing to the space. It's fucking insane. So just cut the Bitcoin drama bullshit, everybody. A lot of people are wondering right here in the chat, like, what are your thoughts on this space right now as far as like the bear market? Is there anything that you're doing right now to kind of hedge yourself in the bear market and position yourself for a bull run?
Honestly, learn as much as you can. Like, find your edge in this market. There is plenty of opportunity for everyone listening. Just find what interests you. For me, I love trading. As I said earlier, I'm an amateur, so I'm still nowhere near the level of people that you've had on your podcast. But I find myself staring at charts all day, and I post my charts on my Twitter, and I like doing that. I like learning from that. So I found my edge is literally posting, trading, interacting with people who are better than me, and learning as much as I can about different cryptocurrencies so I can better position myself for the next bull run. So just do your research, read white papers, hit me up on Twitter, DM me, ask me questions. Like I'm honestly here to help. I as I said earlier, I don't know everything, but if you take the time to reach out to some of these bigger accounts, you'll be surprised how many are willing to help you. Just be civil. And once, if you have something to offer your community, offer it, but don't expect anything back. Like I do this just because I fucking like it.
Right.
I'm
same here, man. I'm with you. That's why I do this. I like it. I'm no expert or whatever by any means. I just enjoy talking to people and learning newer things and engaging, and that's like how kind of like you said, whatever you can contribute. I'm no developer, I'm no trader, I'm no TA expert. That's not where I can contribute. Where I can contribute is in curiosity and public forum, like a podcast like this. This is my contribution. But a lot of people out there, like Wendy O, she understands TA, so her contribution is doing technical analysis, much like Tone Vase, and Andreas is just, his metaphors really speak to an audience that they can kind of click with things that they have never actually come into ideology with. Like these are things that they've just never had a concept of, and the way he can just regurgitate information for an audience to get it, that's his contribution. So guys, just find your contribution. And I would say right now, personally, I'm earning as much crypto as I can earn. I'm participating in every airdrop, every bounty, anything that's doing something that sounds like it's free money in a way. That's what I'm doing. I'm accumulating as much by participating as much, because the participation is basically giving me more information. So I'm earning while learning. And I think that's what Coinbase has started to do with their earn. You can watch videos, learn about, Bitcoin, take a quiz and earn some Bitcoin because you actually learn something and you prove, it's like proof of, education. I think that's really cool. So guys, if you're out there and you don't have much crypto, find out how to participate and get some crypto. I mean, Monarch is giving away 100 tokens to everybody. It's like $10. It's $10 worth of their token for free to everybody. So like check out monarchtoken.io, join the Telegram, and get free crypto. Like straight up, that's all I'm doing is in everybody's Telegrams grabbing free money. Is there any projects though that have caught your attention this year that you have high hopes for 2019? Not saying so far as an investment, but like as a project that you want to actually utilize, right? Like the benefit would be a quality of experience, right? Like, so what projects have caught your attention that you're just like, man, I want it to exist so I can use it?
That's a really good question. Um, hmm. I mean, the BAT basic attention token browser caught my eye at first, but there are some issues with the platform that I can't really go into details about. So honestly, man, for now the platform that will be the easiest for the user to onboard will be the winner. I don't know which one that is yet, but I know that first movers advantage is huge. So the platform that's going to win is there already. It could be Ethereum, it could be EOS, it could be, one of these larger ones. But the truth is, if I had to shill you guys a coin, just Bitcoin, man. Like that's the one that everyone's using, and also a privacy coin. The issue with the privacy coins is I don't know with a certainty which one is the best and if they're truly private,
Hmm.
because I'm no expert, as I said. So but I hear of things and I read a lot. So a coin itself is private, but it isn't always, and I'd be afraid of the privacy coins that are on larger platforms. Those are usually the one, well, not larger, but I mean institutional platforms. The ones that are going to be on institutional platforms, I believe, will have certain ways to track back certain transactions. So that's something to pay attention to in the future. But truly, it's just Bitcoin for now, and I don't think the space is at a spot where people are truly using a coin to do something. So I think we're still in that stage where everyone's building, and there will be some awesome projects that I'm really waiting for. But for now, like I don't see it yet. Perhaps that's just my lack of exposure to different projects. But if there's anyone in the chat that has some cool projects, lay them out, and I'll be glad to do some research. So yeah, how about you? Is there something that stands out for you, Ken?
Anything blockchain game. I think
Yeah.
the gaming industry of blockchain is going to be as disruptive as anything that we've ever seen, is when it comes to this industry, but it will be more embraced, right, as a
Mhm.
disruptive technology, right? Like cryptocurrencies disrupting the banking industry. That's fucking hella disruptive, guys. But when you're coming into an industry that it's already institutionalized, but is now starting to become more of a hostile takeover, as you will, of like the individual entrepreneurs of gaming, like Ninja and Nick 30 and Taifu and all these amazing streamers that are out there. They dictate which games, like first it was Fortnite, now it's Apex Legends, like they dictate which games get pumped or not, like it's their own little shitcoin pump and dumps in game forms. So I see like the incorporation of tokenization in game is going to be more embraced than the tokenization of currency in bank.
Mhm.
And I think this is that snowball that starts to roll down the mountain where like the youth starts getting real used to, how do they make money? Well, they create content or they consume content, and they curate content, and they write blogs about Ninja's last live stream, and they earn whatever. Like they're going to have a different economy than what we've ever become to like think of. So they're going to be way more familiar through that aspect. So I'm keeping my eye on things like Wax Token, keeping my eyes on Engine,
Theta.
things. Huh?
Have you heard of Theta?
Faded? No, haven't. What are they up
My
to?
my my boy Cryptunes, you can find him on Twitter. He's a Theta maximalist, and their team is insane. And they're also tackling that particular field. So that's another interesting project. But you are absolutely right.
I mean,
Gaming is.
even Steam. Sorry to interrupt, but
Mm.
Patrick, you're right. Steam even has games on their blockchain like Steam Monsters, and I even think there's one like Drug Wars or Drug Lord. I just signed up with DJ Me Popsicle's referral link, so I'm about to start selling drugs on the Steam blockchain. It's not what you think. If you're listening, officers, it's not what you think. But yeah, dude, I think kids that are playing like Flappy Bird and shit on their phones, when we get that to the when there are apps like for Steam Monsters, when people can play these DApp games that have cryptocurrency tokenized asset, in-game non-fungibles and shit, like they're just gonna start realizing that why would I play this when I could play that, earn, and then I could shop on Amazon with my crypto that I just earned from playing a game. So I think the future is with the youth, obviously, not to be,
Hmm.
too cliche, but the future's with the youth. And right now, the youth, they're not looking at Terrell Owens and all the, they're not looking at fuck. I don't even watch sports at all. I was trying to think of another one, and I don't know
Hmm.
anybody. But like, they're not looking at these people anymore and thinking, oh, I'm gonna go out on the field and get beat the fuck up. No, they're gonna play a video game and shoot people and make money now. Like,
Yeah.
they're gonna be playing the gaming economy is going to be a big boom, bigger than the industrial economy, because the way the machines took jobs, nobody's going to want to watch AI play video games. It's not
Hmm.
entertaining. The entertainment aspect is going to be human engagement right there. So definitely, and I think, yeah, you're right with the chat said with esports blowing up, without a doubt. Could you imagine Fortnite having a tournament where you have a Bitcoin wallet and every minute you stay alive in Fortnite, a faucet takes a little bit of Bitcoin, and when you die, that's it. But the last person that stays alive gets all the Bitcoin that everybody contributed for every minute they played the game. That
Hmm.
is a fucking tournament, bro.
This
And
is
that's the
perfect.
kind of things that Steam Monster's already doing. They have tournaments like that. So like the stuff's already happening. It's not like, so far out, but definitely think you should look into the blockchain games and stuff like that.
Yeah, like gamification is huge. And yeah, like you're saying, I think it was on Fortnite, there was this live concert that got like 10, 20 million people watching at one time. That is crazy. Imagine monetizing that. It kind of goes back to the old days with like RuneScape and shit, where you could
Yeah.
sell your gold for but that was complicated because you had to go to another website and you had to link up your credit card and all that. So,
Yeah.
you know,
People in RuneScape got real into Bitcoin, man. A
yo,
lot of people I talked to that are OGs, they got in through either like yourself with Silk Road or through RuneScape. RuneScape, and I was just like so blown away from all the OGs that got into it because of the actual utility of it, right? Like open
hmm.
free market and digital transactions of things that just weren't able to be done before, and it's just like y'all, like, why Bitcoin's important because you actually have used it, but not because you had it. You had a need before you had it, and you found that this filled a need. It was something that you could use. That's why it means so much to you. But a lot of people that are getting into this are just getting into it for the speculative value of it going up and making them more fiat. So they don't have any of that, like, why it's useful. They don't use it. So
Hmm.
I really want to implore people, and it's not illegal to go on the internet and even go on the deep web, dark web, or whatever. You could buy Pokemon cards on the deep web with Bitcoin. Just do it, just to do it. Like, see what it's like to engage with a free market, a real free market that's not eBay or Amazon that's censoring and stealing profits from everybody's transactions. It's
Hmm.
imagine if somebody just walked by your yard sale every other sale and just kept taking 30% of your transactions.
Yeah, and there's that thought about the dark web. Like, I consider myself a pretty legit dude. Like, I pay my taxes, I'm on top of my shit. But you'll find so much information on the dark web that you will not find anywhere here. So, try like we spoke about earlier. Everything's a half truth. So try to investigate, learn,
Well,
ask
the true
questions.
journalism's on the deep web. True
Yeah.
journalism takes place on the deep web. If you want to find out what's going on in a regime, if you want to see what's really happening in Venezuela, they can't talk about that shit on Twitter. Twitter won't let them. Facebook won't let them. Medium, these sites won't let them. Steam it will let them. You can. I know Steam did have an issue with with a government leak file or something like that was posted on Steam, but it's still on the blockchain. You can still go and view it. It's just the platform that's the company itself that has the user interface for the blockchain just doesn't show it. That's all. But it's still there. It's not like on Twitter where it's unfortunately like my man's Twitter account just gone. Just gone.
I'll be back. I'll be back.
Yeah, well, I mean, your back is I am the real Bigsy, right?
Just the real
Oh,
Bagsy.
just Bagsy, yeah, Bagsy, the real Bagsy. There you go. I tagged your old account in this, so in case we can help you get it back, hopefully you do.
Thanks, man.
So I guess to kind of wrap things up, what's some some elevator advice, you know, something that you give to your noob friends when they're getting into crypto, places that they can go to find information, do their own research, stuff like that. Like, what's the basic advice that you would give somebody right now getting into the space?
Okay. Firstly, buy some Bitcoin, get invested. That's the first thing, because as soon as you have a couple dollars in, it makes it all the more important. Secondly, read the Bitcoin white paper, like you said earlier. Thirdly, ask questions. And if you end up on, the Twitter community, just keep it real, keep it positive, and just be a good human. And I guess that's my message.
All right, guys, you heard them. Be a good human. Be excellent to each other, if you will. Hey, Crypto Keeper, how goes it, bro? Thanks, everybody, for joining the live stream. Patrick, I appreciate you watching on Twitch. Much love, bro. Just for a quick shout out, I did want to say thank you to Morecoin in Vegas, New York, and all over. They make it possible for me to stream live on everywhere. I'm on Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, bit.tube, dtube.tv, and vimm.tv, which is Steam blockchain. So I'm streaming on like 7 platforms simultaneously.
That's insane.
Right now. Whew. So guys, if you could, I'd appreciate it if you could share this. If you're watching it, just share the live stream on your social media. Give us some feedback. Engagement is important. Feedback is even more important. And keep the conversation going. And yeah, guys, I guess follow the real Bagsy, Bagsy, for now, and keep an eye out on I am Bagsy. See, make sure account gets unlocked. All right, guys, have a day.
Thanks, Ken. I appreciate it.